f times g of 2. What does that mean?
You put 2 in for x.
You put a 2 into each of them for your x and multiply those answers together. So if I put a 2 in the first one, you get 2 squared minus 3 times 2 plus 1. So 4 minus 6 plus 1, which gives us -1. If I put a 2 into g, I get -4 plus 3, which is -1, and -1 times -1 is you're multiplying.
Or 1. I was adding.
You're adding, yeah.
I was honestly adding.
All right. What if I asked you to do f minus g of x? So in this case, I didn't give you a number to plug in. So that just means we're subtracting those two equations. So f of x is x squared minus 3x plus 1 minus g of x is negative 2x plus 3. So what do I need to do? Distribute the negative. So if I did that, this became a plus, plus, and a minus. So then add like terms. We have an x squared. We have a negative 3x plus 2x, which is this negative x. We have 1 plus negative 3, which is negative 2. I could ask you to do the domain of f divided by g. So if we do f divided by g, f goes on top, g goes on the bottom. And we spent one day last week doing nothing but domains. And we said if you have a fraction, what do you know for your domain? Bottom denominator cannot be 0. So if I subtract over my 3, divide by 2, so x cannot be 3 halves. So my domain is everything but that. It would be negative infinity to positive 3 halves and 3 halves to positive infinity. What if I asked you to do f composed with g of 1? What is that asking me to do?
So, we put the g in as the x for f.
Yes. Okay, you can see this written two different ways, one with that little circle, one with parentheses. But you always start on the inside. So the first thing you will do is the g of 1. That means I'm going to go to g, and I plug a 1 in for my x. So if you plug a 1 in, you get negative 2 plus 3, which is 1. So what happens is this whole inside part gets replaced with my answer, which is 1. And now that says you go to f and you plug a 1 in for your x. So you get 1 minus 3 plus 1, which gives us negative 1. So compositions, you have to do the inside one first, get your answer, and then plug that into the next one. You start on the inside, work your way out. All right. The other piece that we did on Friday, which probably the most confusing piece, was the difference quotient. So I'd like to do one of those to kind of refresh if we could. So if I said find the difference quotient for f of x equals 3x plus 4. Anytime I told you, you don't have to memorize what the difference quotient is. I will tell you on a test or quiz, I'll probably say this, but then I will have steps A, B, and C. So I will break it up and show you exactly what I expect you to do each time. So step A, I'm going to ask you to find f of x plus h. Step B, I'll ask for f of x plus h minus f of x. And step C is the entire difference quotient. F of x plus h minus f of x all over h. So basically we're working this out in pieces. So instead of just trying to jump to the final thing and look at it and do everything at once, we do a little bit at a time. So f of x plus h. If I said f of 2, that just means you go to your function, you plug in 2 for your x. So when I say f of x plus h, that means you go to your function, you replace your x with x plus h. So if we distribute, we get 3x plus 3h plus 4. That's step A. Step B says f of x plus h, but that's just what I worked out. So we take that answer minus f of x. Where do I get f of x?
3x plus 4.
Yeah, it's the original. F of x is 3x plus 4. If we distribute the negative, positive 3x and negative 3x cancel. Positive 4 and negative 4 cancel, and all we get is 3h. Step C, we have f of x plus h minus f of x, but that's just what we worked out. So we just take that answer divided by h, and we get. So these difference quotients, if you have a lot at once, you just break it up. You're just working out one piece at a time, and you take that answer, and that's the starting of the next one. Okay, we're going to start on today's stuff, and I think I did print some notes for you guys. Okay, so today our focus is going to be on compositions. We ended with those on Wednesday, and we just reviewed some. That's where you plug your number into the inside one first and work your way out. Okay, but we only did it with numbers. What I want to do today is look at it first if I give you the actual functions. So when I ask for f composed with g of x, I think it's easier to write this with parentheses. That's f of g of x. You always start on the inside. So what is g of x? X squared plus 1. So the difference is I don't have a number to plug in. So we just have to keep that whole function. Okay. So then I have to take this and I'm plugging it into F. So F says you're going to do 3 minus X. That thing you're plugging in takes the place of your X. So I do 3 minus my X squared plus 1. Everybody with me? So then just simplify as much as we can. We can distribute that negative, add like terms, so we get 2 minus X squared. And that would be our final answer. Okay. Let's look at this next one. So G composed with H of X. So we have G of H of X. So you start on the inside. What is H? So now I have to plug that into G. So G is whatever you plug in squared plus 1. So the thing I'm plugging in is the 2x minus 3. If I asked you to simplify this a little more, what could you do there? Foil. It may take us a second, but it's not difficult. So you get 2x times 2x, so 4x squared, minus 6x, and minus 6x would be minus 12x. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. You get 4x squared minus 12x plus 10. You with me on that one? I did 2x times negative 3, and that was negative 6x. And then I did the inside. I just went ahead and added them. It's the same thing twice. We're not multiplying by the conjugate, just the exact same parentheses twice in FOIL.
I thought if it was the same, you just do first and last.
That's when they're opposite signs, that you only have to do first and last. Okay, last one. H composed with F. So that's H of F of X. So F is 3 minus X. Plug that into H. So H is 2 times whatever you plug in minus 3. And that thing I'm plugging in is my 3 minus X. So we get 6 minus 2x minus 3. So 6 minus 3 is 3 minus 2x. I would like for you guys to try the next one on your own, please. So I'm asking you to find G composed with F. This says G of F of X. So F is 5x plus 3. Plug that into G. So 6 minus 2 times the thing you plug in. So if you distribute your negative 2, you get negative 10x minus 6. So our final answer is negative 10x. Looked like you guys were doing good on that. Any questions for me there? times you will be given the answer to a composition. So they're saying I did f composed with g. So I did f of g of x, and I got this for my answer. And I want you to tell me what f of x and g of x were to begin with. Now on these types of problems, there is not always just one correct answer. A lot of times there are multiple correct answers. What I tend to look for, we know g of x is the inside. So I look for my inside. Inside being under a radical, the bottom of a fraction, in parentheses, those kinds of things. So what could be the inside over here? Yeah, the x squared plus 1. So that is my g of x. Okay, now think about what we do on these compositions. When I plug something in, I replaced my x with that, right? So if I'm going backwards, when I take this back out, it goes back to being just a plain x. So to get the other one, you have to think about, okay, if I took this out and replaced it with just an x, what are you left with?
X to the 55.
So that would be your outside function. Like I said, there's more than one correct answer here, but this is the most direct route, or the easiest one. So let's look at another. So I'm telling you that f composed with g equals 1 over x plus 1. And I need to know what f and g were to begin with. So g is the inside. The inside, like the first thing you would do, if you plugged a number in, what are you going to do first? X plus 1. So that's my g of x. To get my f, I have to think, okay, if I take this all out and just replace it with an x, what am I left with? So f would be 1 over x. All right, I want you guys to do the next one. So tell me what f and g could be. We all agree on this one? So f of g of x equals this. So your inside is your g, so that would have to be the 2x plus 3. The outside is your f, so if you take out 2x plus 3 and replace it with an x, you get x to the 4th. All right. I think I want to stop here for today. So, tomorrow, all we have left to talk about is the domain of composition. Today, you have 2 things that you need to do. First thing, if you go to Classroom, I posted a handout. This is due tomorrow. It shouldn't take you too terribly long. It is just practicing those compositions. So grab a calculator and it's just a matter of plugging things in. It shouldn't take too terribly long. When you finish with that, you can go back to working on the Math Excel. Tomorrow, I'm not giving any additional homework, so tomorrow's assignment will just be to finish the Math Excel, and that one is due on Wednesday. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? So top priority, the handout is due tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll wrap this up, and then you will have the rest of the class to finish that Math Excel as well. this is what you're using for the right, you're just putting a number in. So you're actually -3 and plug it into G. Get your answer and then plug that answer in. Yeah, this front side, you're doing the numbers. So you basically, the first one, you plug -3 into G, get that answer, and then plug that answer in.